Today, we're going to be talking about one of the simplest, most realistic ways to start downsizing your home without the overwhelm, without the stress, and without the guilt. Now, if you ever started a big decluttering project and thought, I don't have the energy for this right now, this talk is going to feel like a breath of fresh air because we're not doing a full closet or a kitchen or even a room today. No, we're just focusing on a box. See my prop? We're just focusing on a box. Any size box, smaller is even fine. It all works. This is the one box at a time approach, the most practical way to downsize when life is busy, energy is low, or you're just getting started. Now, if we haven't met yet, hello, I'm Tracy Lynn, the founder of Declutter in Minutes. I started my site a little over 6 years ago, and it was small and it was quiet and it was meant to help women simplify their homes. But since then, it has grown into a thriving community of thousands and thousands of women, all looking for a more practical, less emotional way to right-size their homes into ones that fit their lives today. So a year ago, I went through a life-changing moment that brought me to a full stop. And some of you might already know this story, so I will keep it short. So we moved out of our family home of 26 years and into our new empty nester home, a space that is just a fraction of the size of where we used to live. And let me tell you, I learned really quickly that all the decluttering tips in the world didn't prepare me for this. I tried to cram way too much stuff into not enough space, and it just didn't work. So over the last 12 months, I have shifted my focus away from the traditional decluttering and towards something new. Downsizing. And that change has been more positive and freeing than I ever expected. So now my goal is to share that same approach with you. I totally get it because, like I said, my attic, it's something that I've been dealing with for decades. And I know the heaviness you feel and that it is real. And it doesn't belong in your home or your life, any of that heaviness, stress, or guilt. And that's why I'm so passionate about this work. Because let's be honest, decluttering, it can feel overwhelming, right? It's all about questions and emotions and second guessing. And really, who has time for that? I know I don't. That's exactly why I fell in love with downsizing instead. Downsizing is simple. Keep what fits, donate what doesn't. No guilt, no overthinking, just practical choices that make sense. Because when you reduce what's in your space, you release the stress and the noise that comes with it. You start to breathe easier, and that's when everything begins to change. Now, here's where it gets good. When we think about decluttering, most of us imagine one of those all weekend chaos sessions, piles everywhere, half-made decisions, the house looks worse than it did before we even opened this big old can of worms. And that's why so many of us never start in the first place. It's just too much. But downsizing, well, that's different. With downsizing, we start smaller. We're more focused. We start with the space to determine our cap, which means how much fits in that area. We choose the best to keep in that space and donate what doesn't make the cut. So we're not doing the whole kitchen, just the drawer of food containers that never closes tight. We're not doing the entire bedroom or the entire closet, just the clothes that never get picked for us to wear. Not every paper in the last decade, just the random ones scattered around that you keep moving from pile to pile. When you give yourself permission to fill just one box with the overflow, the things that don't fit your life anymore, well, something shifts. Suddenly, it's not about tackling the entire house. It's about noticing what's extra, what doesn't fit, what's quietly overstayed its welcome. Like that drawer of pot holders you have to hip check to close. Yes, I'm talking about that one. That's where the momentum begins. Because the power of this method isn't in what you take away. It's in what you choose to keep, what you actually use, what truly fits, and what belongs in your space right now. Okay, that's huge, you guys. So I want to say it again. So everybody pay attention because this is where things get real. It's not about what you're removing. It's about what you're choosing to keep. That's the shift that changes everything. Okay. If you ever started decluttering and gotten halfway through and thought, I totally can't do this, why did I even start this? I want you to drop a yes in the chat, because here's the thing, you're definitely not alone. We've all been there. Yes, even me. I remember back in the day when my kids were little and at home, and things resembled the aftermath of a daily tornado. So whenever I got that sudden burst of motivation to finally clean things up, I'd announce to my family, all right, nobody's allowed in the kitchen for the next 24 hours. I'm cleaning this mess up for good. And then I'd start tearing everything out of the cabinets onto my counters until they were covered, piles everywhere, resulting in total chaos. About an hour and a half later, I'd be standing there completely exhausted, staring at a bigger mess than when I started. No energy to make dinner, no energy to put things back, no energy to organize anything. So, yes, I totally get it. And maybe that's another reason why downsizing works, because you're not dealing in projects, you're dealing in real life. You're not dealing in rooms, you're dealing with space. You're not dealing with memories and emotions, you're dealing in practicality. But overall, I totally get it. And before we go any further, I want you to hear me loud and clear. It is not your fault that decluttering didn't work. Let me say it again. It is not your fault decluttering didn't work, because here's the truth. Decluttering is built on an all or nothing mindset. You're told to touch everything, make hundreds of tiny decisions, and somehow stay motivated through the chaos. It's exhausting. And when the dust settles, it often feels like you've worked so hard for so little change. But here's the good news, downsizing changes all of that. Downsizing is practical, gentle, and completely doable. You can tackle it in small, bite sized steps, even weave it into the natural rhythm of your day. No marathon sessions, no guilt, just simple, steady project progress that actually sticks. Oh, and a box. All right, let's talk about how to make the one box method work for you. I'm all about practicality, so here's your practicality. Step number one, grab an empty box. Doesn't matter what size. If you have a shipping box, use that. If not, you could just use one of those plastic shopping bags, okay? Step number two, put it in a room or in an area that feels too full. So you can set it on a chair near to your closet, or you can hang a bag on the door of your closet. You can put it on a table in your den, in your craft room, or in your entryway. Or you could set a box on your kitchen counter, on the kitchen floor, or hang it on the pantry door. Okay. So step number two is choose a location to put that box. That box is your visual reminder. It's your cue or your clue, your little tap on the shoulder to put something in it that says, hey, see me right here. Put donation on it. Use a big marker. You guys, I love these chunky markers. Take this marker, write donation on it, and set it out on your counter so it's an eyesore. So you're like, I hate that box being there. I need to put something in it so I can close it up, get it in my car, and get it out of here. Okay? Then, step number three, as you move about your day, start noticing the overflow, the things you have that is probably more than you need for the life you're living today. You want to look at the space you have. That's first. See what fits. That's second. Choose what you love. And choose what you love. That's the stuff that's going to stay in the space. Once you make that decision and you do that three-step process, look at what you have left. Whatever you have lying out that didn't make the cut to go into the space, that's what goes into the box. It's that simple, you guys, because the space is the bad guy. It's no longer you. The space is making the call, and all you need to do is pick your favorites that fit in the space, your favorite of the things that gets to stay. Then there's no big cleanup, no pressure, just one space at a time, helping you see what actually fits your life right now. Okay, so I gave you the theory, right, of how downsizing works. I gave you the practicality, the step-by-step plan. Now let's look at a real life example. So if you're, and we're going to look at like the kitchen towel drawer, okay? I did the pot holder drawer last time. I actually even did a video on it. This time we're going to do the kitchen towel drawer, because I know if you're anything like me, you have a ton of towels in your kitchen, because I'm part of the belief that you can never have too many towels, right? So if your drawer is crammed full of misplaced rags and towels, this is a great project to try out. So the first thing you're going to do is take everything out of the drawer. Now remember, don't let that freak you out because it's just a drawer and it should only be towels, right? So take everything out. Next, look at the drawer or the cabinet and see what fits. If it's 6 folded towels, that's your cap. You get to choose your 6 favorite towels. Fold them up and put them in the drawer. Now, once you do that, if there's still room, you can add 1 or 2 more towels, but I want you to stop before it looks stuffed. Remember, the goal is nice and easy to grab, not bursting at the seams, okay? So you're going to choose your favorite towels. You're going to fold them up, put them in the drawer, add a few more if you have space, remove a few if it doesn't close easily. Now, whatever's left laying out on the counter, those are your cast-offs. And they should be the ratty towels, the stained towels, the towels with holes in them, the towels that have bleach marks on them, the towels that have definitely seen better days, right? Those are the towels that you can let go. They've served their purpose, right? You can get them gone. Now, if you want to move them to your cleaning cabinet and use them as rags, that's fine. You could totally relocate them. I have no problem with that. But if you already have enough rags, you have no other reason to keep these towels. Let them go. This is practical. You kept your favorites. There's no emotional freakouts that you need to have. Now you can let go of the excess. Here's the magic phrase, okay? Keep what fits, donate what doesn't. Seriously, you guys, that's it. The space is the boss. Your job is to just choose your favorites, the best, the ones you love, and release the rest. There's no guilt, no emotional tug of war, and absolutely no does this spark joy nonsense. We're going for practical here, not magazine perfect. And that's it. Your 1 box project is done for the day. You've made real progress you can see and feel. And even better, you're training your brain to finish and not start only to quit halfway through. That's what we call burnout. And we're training our brain to start, do, and finish, see our projects all the way to done. And when you do things small in one of these small boxes, it's totally doable. It's totally easy, and it's not overwhelming at all. And here's the most important part. You're not just filling a box. You're proving to yourself that you can make progress without making more chaos. Downsizing isn't about having less. And no, you're not suddenly turning into a minimalist. It's about having just enough stuff to fit comfortably in the space you've chosen to keep it. So the cabinet closes and the drawer shuts. And remember this, every box you fill, it's not just stuff leaving your home. It's a little bit of weight leaving your mind. Because honestly, digging through 25 measuring cups just to find the one you'll actually use, that's hard, right? So let's make it easier. Downsize what you don't use and give yourself the gift of simple. Okay, so who's ready to try this week? I hope I see a lot of yeses. I hope this really resonates with you. And I hope you're super excited to give it a try because we're not dealing with emotion. We're not dealing with memories. And here's something that we need to say, you guys. I'm not telling you to take a box and put it, somebody said in their den with totes of memories. I'm not telling you to put this box in your den with totes of memories. Memories are different. This approach isn't in the memories. We'll do a training on that later. This is for the practical stuff, the spatulas, the pot holders, the sneakers, the coats, the sweatpants, the books in your family room that are stacked up to the ceiling. That's what this approach is for, the practical stuff. Because when you get used to doing this with the practical stuff, it gives you confidence. It makes you feel like I can totally do this, right? I can totally handle this. And you can slowly move on to the more tricky areas, like your closet, like your dresser drawers, like the craft supplies in your craft room. That can be so hard to let go of, okay? I want you to find your first box, any size. You could even start with a small box like this one, and you can work on measuring cups, keychains, small things like that, okay? So you could totally do a small box. Set it in an area that you want to downsize. Once it's filled, close it up and put it in your car and stop there. And when you put that box in your car, I want you to celebrate it, because that simple box is the start of your lighter, calmer home. Remember, every time you fill another box, you're not just clearing space, you're creating room for peace, clarity, and the version of you that's ready for the life you're living right now. Okay, any other questions? I call that a memory box to be revisited. Very good. So I love that, a memory box. Okay, real quick, you guys, I'm going to put up this banner. If you type in declutterminutes.com/downsize, I have 3 downsizing resources that are free that you can go ahead and sign up for. It's our Downsize Before You Move. If anybody is going to be moving into an empty nester home, super quick, easy guide that will help you do a downsizing session really quickly. I also have our downsizing guide. This is our super popular guide. We've had thousands of people sign up for this guide. It gives you basically this talk in paper form. So you can print it out and you can use it to start downsizing spaces in your home. And then finally, our downsizing math spreadsheet for any of our tech people out there that want to see math downsizing tips for their home. It kind of tells you like, keep 2 sets of linens for every bed in your house. And it's a spreadsheet that you can punch in numbers. You say how many beds you have, and it's going to tell you how many linens you can keep. And that's your cap, because a box doesn't always work, right? Sometimes you need math to give you that cap. And I'm telling you, caps are going to change everything. You're going to start seeing your home in caps, and you're going to start seeing the excess without having to go through every single item. So type in declutterminutes.com/downsize to get one of those freebies.